All right, let's take a step back, get some perspective for a moment, and take a look at everybody who's involved in this whole big mess. We got, of course, Barbara Walters, we have Rosie O'Donnell, and Donald Trump. If there was ever any such thing as an ego meter, it would probably be off the charts right about now. Showbiz Tonight is hitting the books, or rather the book, The Little Book on Big Ego. And joining me tonight from Washington, D.C., Joel Epstein, author of The Little Book on Big Ego. I appreciate you being with us, Joel.
Glad to be here.
So the way I see it, Rosie may have fired that very first shot. It really all started with her comments about the Miss USA controversy, but it seems to me, and it has seemed all along the way, that we're still talking about this, that this is all still going on because of Mr. Trump's ego. Do I pretty much have that right by your standard?
I think that you have it right. Rosie definitely shot one over the bow when she got to the end of her discussion about Miss USA and got personal, got a little mean. And when Mr. Trump heard about that, he did one of the things that I say not to do in my book, and he returned fire in a violent way.
And he has always wanted to have the last word. I mean, even in the case of his comments yesterday, he put out an email or a letter after what they said on The View yesterday, and they didn't make mention of it today. But we're talking about three high-profile personalities here with Barbara Walters, Donald Trump, and Rosie O'Donnell, very respected in their own right. There have been a lot of opportunities for any one of them to shut up and take the high road. Does it basically come down to ego as far as why that has not happened?
Absolutely. Ego monsters always want to win. And winning is basically getting the last word. And really the only way to beat an ego monster is to control your own ego and to actually lose on purpose. And what I mean by that is just give in. Who cares? These people don't have to work together. They're not married to each other. They don't own a company together. They need to get over it, either apologize, send each other some gifts, and be done with it. It really just doesn't matter. Three important words just mentioned here on Showbiz Tonight. Get over it. I do appreciate that, Joel. We're talking about three big egos here with Barbara, Rosie, and Trump. And as you'll say, you know, ego not necessarily a bad thing. But I want to go to that ego meter, which I like to call the egometer. Who would you say here are we talking about with the biggest one of them all? I think I know who it is. Well, I'm going to let you say. If you have to rate it and look at the facts as they're portrayed, I think I'd have to hand it to Mr. Trump at this point, because he's just refusing to let it go and continuing on to the point where, you know, he can make himself look bad at this point if he continues.
Isn't he kind of defined by his ego in so many ways? Because this is not just about this feud. I mean, you go back and look at how brash he has been in the past and the kind of way that he has conducted himself in the past and how out there he puts himself.
I think that, you know, I would just have to agree with what you said. And when he heard what Rosie said to him, he heard it in a very defensive way. It wounded him, why we don't know, to the point where he had to lash out, is continuing to lash out. And, I mean, as you said yesterday, he sent another letter, which is incredible.
So boiling it down real quickly for me, with all these egos at play, and it's all coming out in a very nasty way, when all is said and done, is everybody pretty much a loser here?
Everybody's a loser. Absolutely correct.
Joel Epstein, I appreciate you joining us tonight. You can pick up Joel's book, The Little Book on Big Ego, in bookstores, or you can send it anonymously to someone whose ego is out of control, which is a pretty good idea. You just go to frictionfactor.net.
Well, we have been asking you to vote on our Showbiz Tonight question of the day, and it is